and welcome to Asia Gaming Brief's Face-to-Face series. Today I'm talking with Jonathan Power, who is the CEO of VoxBet. VoxBet has a voice technology which makes it easier for punters to place bets on a sportsbook. They're currently working on a Cantonese version of this as they expand into Asia. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you very much for joining us today. You're from VoxBet, voice-activated technology. I wonder whether you could please give us a bit of background and tell us exactly how this works.
It works very simply. Thank you, first of all, but it works very simply. What we're trying to create is a user experience for sportsbooks where somebody can get the bet they want by speaking it. So it's as simple as that. Obviously, what happens after the customer speaks their bet is very complex. But so the idea is that there's a microphone on a sportsbook homepage or a sportsbook app. You press the microphone, you speak what it is you want, and it immediately populates the bet slip with whatever it is you have spoken. So that's the long and short of what the product is. And I can talk at length about why we think that's a fit for the market right now.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear the main driving reasons why it's a good thing for the market right now. Also like to know a little bit about how accurate it is. Is there potential for miscommunication?
Well, there's always a potential for a misunderstanding when something is at that level of the tech spectrum. What the customer says is populated in front of them on the bet slip, and they can confirm whether it's accurate or not before they place their bet. Our tests at the moment are finding it astonishingly accurate. We've surprised ourselves even with how accurate this is. But there are occasions where it is genuinely ambiguous what the customer could mean, in which case we might have to show two meanings, two different bets that they could have said, and they can delete the one that's not right and place the bet on the one that is right. Or there's always a potential to actually, if somebody has set their stake, that we've incorrectly got it, and they will see that and change it themselves. So the customer always confirms that our technology has done what they needed it to do.
Okay. And what is the main advantage? Why do you think that there's a need for this in the market right now?
I think there's two things driving that. One is if you look how we evolved in terms of browsing the internet and searching on the internet and how you use Amazon, how you use Spotify, everything starts with by typing in what it is you want. But if you go to a sports book, you go and you browse through layers and layers of menus. So I literally just wanted to see what the current betting was on the Conservative leadership election. I had to go Paddy Power's homepage. I had to go A to Z. I had to find politics. I had to find UK politics. And then I had to expand another layer to find Tory leadership election. And then I could see, and then outright winner. So I had to do about 7 clicks before I found, and I'm a very expert user of sportsbooks, unfortunately perhaps, but there you are. So all I wanted to know was what was the price of who was the favourite or whatever. So and I could have found that very easily. If I wanted to back one of the candidates, I could have just spoken who it is I wanted, and it would have come up straight away. So there are two types of people who visit a sportsbook. There are browsers and those who have betting intent. And the browsers are well served with the fabulous amount of content that's there. The amount of content on the sportsbook site has grown probably 20-fold in the last 10 years with all the different things you can bet on. And people who don't know what they want to bet on and want to keep looking till they find something appealing are served really well with a sportsbook. But the people who pay the price for that are probably your most valuable customers. And they're the people who just want to get 50 quid on a horse that they know is running today. They don't know what time, they don't necessarily know what track. But the current layout, they have to say, well, which race do you want? Which meeting do you want? What race time do you want? It's very, very difficult to get it. So if there's a horse running today called Dicey Riley, if I had a tip on Dicey Riley and I wanted to do 20 euros each way, I could just press the microphone, say 20 euros each way, Dicey Riley, and that's straight away on the bet slip. So that's one, and we think that's a very important, very valuable cohort of customers that are currently poorly served because they have to dig those things out for themselves. And they tend to be your prolific customers. The other area is that young people, 52% of people under the age of 35 use voice technology every day. Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Apple have invested billions, tens of billions in voice technology. So it's not just us making this bet, we're in good company making a bet like this, that if you want to appeal to tomorrow's customers, this is the technology they're already using. And this is the kind of service they'll expect. I think if you we have a fantastically profitable industry at the moment with people who know how to navigate a sports book, people like me of a certain age. But if you show that to a young person, they just give up. They don't know where to begin. Where if you just say, look, there's a microphone, press it, speak what you want. So you say, well, I want Liverpool to win and Mo Salah to score. Well, we'll show you that, we'll put that straight to the bet slip. And it's a much more intuitive user experience, far more in line with what they're used to as regular users of Siri, of Amazon Alexa, of Google Home, etc.
So where are you currently live?
We're still building out the product. So we have a set of fantastic live customers in PMU, in Paddy Power, in William Hill, and the UK Tote with a few others. We started out with a product quite some time ago that allows people to write their bet in a text message and send it to their bookmakers. So that's the product all of those customers are currently live with. And we realized that if we can take a text that somebody has written and convert that into a bet automatically, we really should be able to take what somebody has spoken and convert that and convert that into a bet for them. So even though it's a huge shift in terms of what it looks like, it's actually the technology underpinnings are very similar. So that's the customer base we have. So we've a long track record of working with big sports betting companies. We're actually one of the areas we're working with at the moment is in Cantonese. So it's to actually understand spoken Cantonese bets, which is going to be quite a challenge since we're going to go from English to Cantonese, where we'd like to go English, French, Spanish, German, and do things one in baby steps, but we're going to jump straight with English to Cantonese at the moment. So
yeah, very, very interesting. That was actually one of my next questions, because I understand you're going into the Asian markets. Obviously, a lot of the markets, Cantonese you just mentioned, I think has 9 different tones in the language. How do you manage to get that at a high level of accuracy?
If you know, this is where what we've created is something quite special with this. You know they're speaking a bet. So if you take something like the generic engines from Google, Amazon, IBM, Watson, etc., they're quite difficult. They are fantastic, and I wouldn't be in any way critical. But if you apply them to a narrow context, they become unsuited. So what we can do is we can say that if you're speaking a bet, the language you're going to use is narrower. So we think, certainly it's working for English, that different accents aren't a problem. Now, right. Cantonese, we're aware of the different dialects in Cantonese, but at least initially what we're working on, you're betting on a horse. The horse either has a number or it has a name. So there's a horse running today called That Beats Banner. At least in English, there's only so many different ways that that's going to be pronounced. And we're pretty sure that if we're only listening for horse names today, that even if you pronounce it very differently to me, it's still more likely you said That Beats Banner than you said Dicey Riley or Angie Endormi or Jack Hammer. So when you know what a customer is going to be speaking to you about, you build the technology in a completely different way, and that's what we've done.
Okay, and why Cantonese is the first one?
That's demand driven. I can't name who they are, but there's a beyond prestigious brand whose customers will speak Cantonese. I think it's probably fairly obvious who that might be, but I wouldn't have their permission to name them, so I won't. And we're working on a proof of concept with them on voice betting, where if we can enable Cantonese where people can speak their bet, and that can be done over the phone or from an app or whatever. There's many different ways places you can put the technology.
So where else in Asia would you be looking at?
If we can do Chinese, there's nowhere in Asia we won't want to go, because if we can do Chinese, we can do the lot. Right. So anywhere where betting is regulated, we're interested in the regulated markets. Anywhere where it's regulated and legal, where we will go once we can prove Cantonese.
And obviously, this is quite a major step forward in terms of gambling technology. Do you stop here, or where do you go next?
We know, actually, all our backgrounds for the people in it, we're people who work together in a banking technology consultancy company. And we came together 15 years ago to work on what I previously described. So you could say our home industry is banking, but actually we're so long in betting now that actually our home industry, if you look at the number of years we've spent in the different industries, our home industry is now betting. There are many other industries this could go to. If you're insurance company, there's in improving the efficiency of business operations, of call center agents. There's a lot of places we can bring this, but at least for the next couple of years, we're going to be working on rolling it out across the betting industry to every corner we can get it into.
Okay. And where do you see the most potential geographically?
The United States. I think what's happened so far in the United States is people have lifted what worked in Europe and dropped it into, which is a very sophisticated market that's grown up with betting as it went online from the late 1990s. And they've lifted that very sophisticated product and dropped it into the US. Now, the US is such a good market for some operators, is that that's enough to make a lot of money. So the FanDuels, and there's a few of them that make really good money. But it's not going to optimize the reach into that market, because the percentage of the market that's going to get a European-themed sportsbook is a lot smaller than the cohort of the market, the percentage of the market that if you gave them something that looked more like a Google homepage than a Yahoo page. If you remember how Yahoo used to require you to browse the internet, it'd say, I want news on America, I want news on American politics. If you think back to those times before Google launched, how you navigate a sportsbook is exactly how you navigated the internet before Google took over Yahoo, wiped out Yahoo's market share. Now, obviously, like Asia is a fantastic market for us because it's prolific. People who gamble, and they gamble a lot, and we find that people who use our technology, like in France, we launched a new product, and people's average betting number of bets per month more than doubled from an average of 80 a month to an average of 160. So if you make it easier to place a bet, people bet more or bet more often. Even though so their stakes came down, but their frequency went up. So the customer's having more fun, the bookmaker's the operator's making a little bit more money because they're betting a little bit more, but the frequency of transaction is increased.
Are there any regulatory concerns here with a type of technology which eases betting in this way?
I don't think friction is a protection for, for gambling. So we'll work with whatever technology is already there. We don't place the bet, we just make it easier for you to navigate it. Essentially, we're making it easier for you to navigate a website that has millions of things that you can navigate to. I've never believed that making something difficult to do is the best way of protecting a problem user.
Thank you for joining us today. Please join us every Friday for our series of interviews with thought leaders in Asia's gaming industry.